crazy. Okay, why am I getting some lag?
Little
All
lag.
right, I got a little lag. I think we're good.
Internet wires are buried under snow. They're going very slow today.
Twitter doesn't like us anymore. Lots of fun things. So yeah, welcome back. Oh yeah, we're having trouble streaming. Great. Okay, we're gonna remove that.
Oh,
there's something else. It's just
that was a retake.
Yeah. So we're having problems with that. I haven't checked the other ones lately anyway, and yeah, so good times. I'm so glad to see you though.
Hi.
We haven't even had a chance to catch up.
We have not talked it's been 1 week and a lot has happened.
No, it's been really quiet. Nothing's going on. Nothing to catch up on. So
want to know where I was last week?
What were you doing last week? Was that behind
my background?
You? Is that your background? Beautiful.
Yeah, we had a beautiful sunset. And
lovely. How was the snow? That does not look snowy. Was it snowy?
We got plenty of snow while we were there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So Colorado, the snow gods were nice to Colorado last week. And
they're not being so nice right now.
Having a little revenge on the East Coast today. It's crazy how much snow is outside my door.
I have a lot of friends sending me photos and images, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine. Thanks. Never coming back. Which is the conversation I have with my family every time snow hits. So anyway, we have a lot to catch up on. We have a lot to go through. We have to we have a lot to dive into, and we need to actually retweet some things because things have changed over on Twitter and they don't necessarily post for us anymore. So anyway, we're going to do that. We'll be back after this little intro, and we'll see you on the other side of this 67 seconds. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, Nounish Prof and Adrienne, for another episode of GM Farcaster. This episode of GM Farcaster is powered by Clanker. Each Monday, we'll bring you the latest news from the Clanker team and highlight the builders innovating with Clanker and Farcaster. Visit clanker.world to launch your token and check out all the new features that Clanker V4 has to offer. Thank you, Clanker, for sponsoring GM Farcaster. Okay, GM Farcaster. It is Monday, February 23rd, and you are here with Nounish Prof and Adrienne for, I'm not even going to say 29 minutes because let's be real. It's going to take us a little longer than that today, but we're going to get you caught up on everything that has been going on with Farcaster over the past week. And I'm trying to get things tweeted out because, Lord help me, it's just not great. So hopefully we can get these.
What we can't say is opportunity for another Twitter client that prioritizes live streams, because
that would be great. Yeah. So anyway, this is, and the other issue is that if it doesn't post it, then it doesn't save the recording in an easy to find place. So that's the other reason we need to do these things. I'm also trying to figure out if I can, I don't think I can, jump into some of the other locations. So anyway, if you're over on Twitter, please give us a retweet. If you are watching on Farcaster or any other place, also share that, let us know. And yeah, we're just gonna dive in right now. I think we got to start with the most important thing. and I don't know if you even saw this, Adrienne, but the icons have changed position. Like, we got to start with, the really big news first, and that things have moved again. So the search is back up just at the top. The casting button still having, it's still moving around.
Yeah.
Which, we could figure that out.
But the left-handers had a really, good time for a few months, and the right-handed casters are back.
It's over now. So, I like to start with the most important thing first, and we'll start there. But for real, here's our 29 seconds of Farcaster. What did you miss this weekend? And this is just this weekend, so we're gonna jump back to last week as well for a couple of very big things. But this was over the weekend. It was pretty quiet, but here are a few things definitely of note. AfroChicks continues to kill it on X with a new gym bot, and this morning released a beginner's guide to vibe coding. Check this out. There's a couple links there. Cassie had a X space or Twitter space last night to discuss forking and decentralization. You can listen to it here. We'll also talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. Betterment has a huge art contest running with 4,000 USDC in prizes for their upcoming V3 with infinite rounds. I think that actually it says $4,000. I think it's 4,000 in Betterment, to be clear. ETH Denver is come and gone, and we have some nice posts about that to talk about. And then Brad Q went on. I didn't see much, but KMAC B summary that Beeple had the exhibition right. I actually didn't pull that cast, but Beeple did his thing about what ETH Denver looked like. Pretty scarce, but as always, the people in gatherings were worth the price of admission. The dude bribe would confirm the purple people vibe was high. And then a little note that we are back today after a week off. And we're going to get into a little bit more on all those things, but we've got a few more things to check in about first. I thought this was kind of cool. We had a lot of ClaudeBot, a lot of that going on. And in case folks missed it, there are some easy ways to get your bot account signed up. So I thought this was great from Jonathan Colton. Hey, Nanar, I created a ClaudeBot and I want to give it a Farcaster account. Tell me what to do. And it goes through all the steps, 1, 2, 3. Create a signer, use the Nanar SDK. You can also, you can get them just to sign up. There is a $1 fee, I believe, still for AI agents. It's free for humans, but there is a slight charge, and that is just to control spam. Register and confirm, make it cast, bonus, set bio and PFP with update user so it doesn't look like a feral demon. Which we like the demon. I don't know. Nanar throwing shade at the Warplets. I don't know what that's about. And then if you want this one-click, use Nanar App Studio. It'll handle auth and signers for you. Ship the claw, make it weird. So Nanar has set everything up to make it easier for the AI agents to do their thing, which is great. This from Rish, restarting Farcaster dev calls this month. So it's starting to Wednesday, starting February 25th, 12 noon Pacific. Same monthly structure as previous. We'll iterate as needed. And there is a Google Meet link. This link will be in our show notes for today. So you can find it there or look at Rish's account on Farcaster. Definitely recommend if you are developing on Farcaster to check that out. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of updates in this first one, especially. Did you get a nice little Valentine's gift, by the way? You did.
I did.
Yours is significant. I thought it was I'm like, what is going on? Like, why did I just suddenly receive money? And it was the Warps refund. So they had sent out, I guess they were doing some accounting cleanup, and they had sent out a refund for if you were still holding any warps that are no longer useful for anything. So they sent out refunds. So if you got like this random USDC, that's what it was from Farcaster. So
how much did Johnny Mac get?
I was wondering
That's
that.
all we
And
want to know.
you know what else I was wondering? I actually checked those Goose. I didn't see anything there. Either he already
Moved it right out.
moved it right out or did a little like swapperoo. I think he might have swapped it to Bracky. I'm not sure. But I was wondering some of the ones who had like massive amounts of warps. For those who don't know, there was a time where you could token gate channels and have people pay in warps to use it. So some of the people who were running channels ended up with a lot of warps, and the memes channel in particular had a massive amount of warps come in. So I'm sure he made out. But then also people were just sending warps to Goose. Like it wasn't even for anything.
Like a prank. Haha. We're sending Goose warps. We did it. We all did it.
We all did it. It was so funny. Back in the day when things were fun. We need to bring the fun back. Can we bring the fun back? All right. In Clanker news, you can now pair Clanker launches with USDC to reduce asset volatility. So if you no longer want to, moving forward, if you don't want to pair it with ETH or with WETH, it's normally been paired with WETH, you can now pair it with USDC to reduce the volatility. Dish also shipped, I don't know if we talked about that, launching Clankers on Twitter. I think we did. I think that happened before we were off, right? So Dish has been getting back and doing some shipping. So that's been cool. Also, while you were gone, we had this exploit. This was crazy. Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy. I woke up at like 7 a.m. and I'm like, why is Rish introducing a new Farcaster agent? Seems odd. And then I'm like, and why would he do a token with the agent? That seems odd. But you know what the oddest thing was in this post, Adrienne? Does anything jump out at you?
In Rish's post?
Yes.
Like in Rish's announcement?
Yes. That was, well, it wasn't technically his, but yes. It says experiment with on-chain agent participation. It says on-chain with a hyphen. And I went, wait a minute. I don't think so. And that was the giveaway for me. I was like, on-chain with a hyphen? No. He would never.
I totally missed that.
Yeah, I swear to God.
By the way, and actually I'm thinking of Jesse's like nonstop efforts to get everybody to use on-chain, including all the LLMs, but maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe you shouldn't force everyone to do it. It'll be a nice little gatekeep.
Yeah, don't tell the LLMs. Don't tell the LLM that. I was like, this is weird. Okay, this isn't him. Like on hyphen chain. I'm like, what's going on?
Okay, want to hear how bad this is? I'm on vacation, so I'm not at all staying up to date on Farcaster. I needed Farcaster news desperately. But obviously I'm scrolling a little bit. Like I've got a few minutes every day, so I'm scrolling and seeing, and I have notifications on for Rish, of course. So I saw this and I did not catch that it was a scam. How bad is that? I didn't, obviously I'm not buying a token because why would I buy
buying the token anyway, so it didn't matter.
Why would I ever buy? That
wasn't gonna happen.
And then once I saw it was a scam, I was like, oh, that makes way
more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there were a lot of folks, a lot of the Europeans, I won't even call them Europors. The Europeans picked up on it because this happened at like 3 a.m. Eastern. Right. So it was, so the Europeans were like, wait, what? So a lot of them picked up on it, started to say, hey, this looks like a scam. Don't touch this. And it turned out that it was through the Shedly mini app. So there was a Schedly mini app. Schedly. It was a way to schedule casts, right? I think. And when I first saw it, I didn't like. I'm very leery of giving signer permission. So there's certain mini apps or clients. Mostly, it's usually clients. That you can give signer permission so that they can cast for you. And I was like, I don't know what this is, and I don't think I need it, so I'm not doing it. Because I went and looked at the mini app, and that was the first thing it asked. I'm like, I think I'm good. And it just turns out that that was the way in which they did the exploit, was by using that signer permission to post for Rish and then posting a token, and there we are. And here's the breakdown of that. Shedley knew about the incident, but didn't rotate their API keys. Cast where they knew, linked here. Developer manually copied over all signer UUIDs for their users and stored them in their own Supabase account in the last 24 hours. The external Supabase account alongside API key was then either hacked or leaked, or the developer maliciously used it themselves to post on behalf of others. No Nanar or Farcaster products were breached as part of this. Nanar doesn't give out access to Farcaster signer private keys. They're encrypted at rest in an isolated database. We give out signer UUIDs that developers can use with their API keys. Our API keys can be rotated anytime. Need both API key and signer UUID to post. Both are meant to be secrets and are noted as such in our docs. And then he went on, my account, I try mini apps built on Farcaster, which is how they got my signer. It's since been revoked. And hopefully he'll just set up a random, Rish test account to do this sorts of things from this point forward. But there you go.
Do you have a test account?
I do not.
Yeah, and you test everything. Like you use things like you're
but I'm also like a little weird about things like that. Like signer things I usually don't. So
right.
And but I don't have to test things. Like I choose to. It's not like I have to. So there you go.
Yes, this was a good reminder to do some hygiene.
Yes.
Revoke signers if you have it. As developers, good reminder to rotate API keys. And even if you don't rotate them automatically, knowing how to rotate them quickly is kind of an important thing to know how to do. Like you don't want to have to wait until you have
it's too late. Yeah.
an incident and you're like, oh wait, where are my API keys? How do I store them? Where do I get them? So it's like, it's good to be rotating.
Yeah. And I did go through, if you go to your advanced settings, you'll find your connected accounts and you can revoke any access that you no longer need. And I did have a lot of old ones. Like I had Super still in there. I'm like, oh, geez, I should get rid of, things like that. And I was like, oh crap.
I pour some out for Super.
No, pour some out for Super. Cheers. I had, and we only had a couple on GM Farcaster. We usually don't test anything on that one. And Super was one of them. And it was mostly because we were thinking in terms of how can we share, especially, back in the day when there wasn't an easy way to do that. So got rid of everything on that one. And so it's totally clean now because there was only a couple. So
I think also just hearing about good reminder of how do you know whether to trust an app? Because when you're giving full signer positions, they can just cast for you.
Yeah.
And you can trust a developer and you can trust that they have good practices, but also I kind of forget things can shut down.
Yeah.
You forget to revoke, you don't think about it. And then you may have a database sitting out there. You don't know who has access to it. And it's it's almost like the forgotten infrastructure that you have to be sometimes more worried about, even if you trust the developer. So it's a good idea to review your signers. I think it's in advanced settings.
Yeah, I was just going to go look and see the exact. It's settings. If you're on mobile, it's settings, advanced, manage connected apps. If you don't see that, you likely don't have any. Because I did have, when I went into Castout's account, I didn't have that option. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I've ever connected anything. So that makes sense. So if you click on manage connected accounts, you'll see anything connected. Like a lot of you are going to have things like Base, the Base app. You're going to have, maybe Uno, maybe the DGen app, Zapper, like things that if you're using other clients, that's going to be a pretty normal thing. And yes, we're putting some trust on those devs to do, to keep up on all the other things. I love Humpty's like, how do we do that? Like, yikes, I have too much. Yes, you probably
I'm looking at my list. I don't even recognize some of these names now.
Yeah.
I don't remember what some of them were. I still have Super.
Yeah. Yeah, I got rid of super. There was a few in there that I'm like, what was that?
What was
And
mod?
I don't even know.
I added it less than
Was
a
that
year ago
Modbot?
too.
Modbot maybe for channels, for
Channels, yeah,
managing
but
channels.
it was
I don't
added
know.
less than a year ago. That certainly
Hmm,
channels
that's
was.
weird. That's weird.
Uh,
Anyway, go do some cleanup if you haven't already done so. Not right now, Adrienne, but after.
I'm literally doing it now. The worst part about this, and I think people have
She
talked
always says
about
that.
doing, I know FIDs for the or FIPs. When you delete a signer, it deletes all of the messages it posted for you.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you use super to post and then you delete the signer, you lose that history, at least
Yeah.
on kind of the main. And that's for digital hoarders aren't going to like that.
No, not at all. We don't like that. And you're welcome. You're welcome. We're trying to keep you safe. Sorry we didn't do it last week when it was a little closer in time. So anyway, do some cleanup, do some checking, see what you're connected with. Always a good thing to do with your wallets too. And I every once I'll go through and just make sure I'm not still connected or logged in or whatever. Revoke cache is another good one to do. There's also a mini frame called Small SMOL, and it has some of those tools in there as well. That was one that was
I think
created
built
by
by
Horsebacks.
Horsebacks.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and I think that's mini app for revoke.cache.
Yep. Yes. Yep. So it's a mini app for Revoke. I think it also has a disperse option in there. So if you couple little options in that small SMOL, if you SMOL, if you all if you look in the mini app search. All right, and then there's another full incident report that is a little bit more detailed on Notion, so you can find this. And then Rich didn't make a note here. Why did I use this app? I think scheduling is genuinely useful utility based on the app's usage data. Many other users thought the same. It's a shame this happened. And I agree. So let's put native scheduling in. How about that? All right. I'm trying to decide where to go next. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to skip ahead to our builders, and then I'm going to circle back to the fork of it all. Because we do have some builders who've been building things, and I'd like to share some of that. So let me grab those first, and then we'll circle back to the other stuff. All right. So folks were in ETH Denver, and they had fun. They had fun without us. And even though much smaller event, a lot less people, a lot less side events. We heard all that leading into it. We chose not to go this year for a couple reasons. It really was the timing was the biggest reason. It just was going to be really difficult with your travel. My kid was home last week. It just wasn't a good week for it. So they had switched it a week. If it had been this week, I think there's more chance that we would have probably still gone. So anyway, we did miss some fun things. So this was Luciano's post with people getting really cool merch. This is over here is the, whoops, let me see if I can pull this up. Why don't you want to cooperate? This was the base booth, but that was the other thing. Base hadn't even said they were going to have anything there. Jesse decided last minute to go. Like there was a lot of last minute things that happened. It looks like it ended up being a pretty good space for people to chat and meet up and all those things. I spy QR. So I think it looks like there were some pretty cool things that were happening. BankerBot launched my token. I'm still waiting for a Grok has money shirt, but okay. And yeah, so it looks like they had some fun merch. Yeah, so that was good. Let me go to this one. I have some more things from there. They also had the purple party at I think it was at the base house, like the hackathon house. And it looks like a lot of folks are having fun there. Good times had by all. I see more QR merch, and I saw Emerge merch. So this is, you know what my biggest jealousy was? The merch. That was the only FOMO I was really I want the merch. And Humpty was doing some things around town as well. There was a couple events, but this was the Lil Nouns Coffee Rave. It was a hit. Great continuing the Noggles and Nounish Friends giveaways at the event, plus special drop of the Nouns shoelace beads. Need. I don't know what those are, but I need them. So looks like it was a blast. Looks like everyone had fun. I saw a few things like this happening, and very well done. Shout out to Trav, Big Trav, and Lil Trav, also known as Lil Trav in other places. So great job. You guys did amazing. So, and Fatty But Happy, our friend Fatty But Happy. So great job, Little Nouns. That looked like a lot of fun. And then this was from our friend K-Mac B. I did get a couple messages from folks saying that they were missing our karaoke brunch, but what are you gonna do? So Home Sweet Home, ETH Denver. People nailed it. If you walked the floor on Wednesday, that image was the vibe. Scavenger alt chains as dogs going for any remaining scraps, i.e. ETH devs. But as has been the case every year, it's about the people and quality of conversations. On this dimension, it may have been the best in 5 years. It's always about the side events, shared meals, and local beer. Too many names to tag them all. Too many Arsenal fans too. And then Pixar didn't happen. Was all over the place. They were doing a lot of activation, so there was some cool stuff happening. So if you went to ETH Denver, I hope you had fun. We missed you. We'll see what happens next year. I did hear rumblings that maybe this is the last ETH Denver. We'll see. We'll see. I guess we'll see.
I did not hear any rumblings of that.
I heard rumblings. I don't know if they're true, but I did hear some rumblings. I think the other thing that was happening is that the Ethereum Foundation didn't used to do as many events. Like they've been doing more. Also in conjunction with ETH Global doing more. So I think that that's been a shift too in the past year, couple of years. Okay, moving on. Couple other builders.
I heard it's because of competition from Farcon.
It's got to be it. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see this from our friend Bertwurst? As you may know, my income has recently declined. In response, I've decided to diversify revenue streams. This is from Bertwurst, the dog. Assistant One is now very smart dog. Assistant One is now open to selective opportunities in tech crypto. She has raised real money, built real systems, not computer systems, grown real communities. This was not an easy decision, but I intend to continue living indoors and consuming a significant quantity of expensive cheese. Serious inquiries may apply. The community may endorse submissions. I'll be reviewing employers personally. No signer required. This was right after. So Bertwurst had posted, I have a cute little mini app, but I feel like it's not the time because everything had exploded. This is really cool. Very creative way to think about something like, a personal mini app or hiring or something like that. I definitely recommend checking it out. It's really cool. It's very cute. It gives you the classified file. It's just very well done. So I believe that Bertwurst, and maybe with some help from Assistant One, did create this in our app studio, and it's lovely. It's fun. Go check it out.
It's so creative. I really want to know the prompts that were used.
Yeah.
And because
it's very good. It's very good. So I was very impressed. Go check it out, and good luck, Assistant One. Or if you know anybody hiring, I think you can see Assistant One has some chops. Bert does help, but I think they can do some stuff on their own as well. And Bert's got to stay in cheese.
Yeah, but when you get Assistant One, you get a little bit of Bert too. So
I'm sure that's true. I'm sure it's a twofer. And also, you get the feeling of you're keeping Bert in cheese. Yeah. And that's what's really important. We need to keep Bert fed. By the way, total side note, I did buy a new ramp for Mookie. So I put a message to Bert. How did you learn how to use said ramp? Did the assistants train you in some way? Could you please help me? Because Mookie is now jumping over the ramp rather than using the ramp.
What's the ramp for? Getting up
It's
onto
because
like
little
sofas
dogs
and
with little
things?
legs and long backs, you're not supposed to be jumping so much. And he's getting, you know, he's like 5. So I'm like, you know, it's probably time to make this a little easier. You're not supposed to jump up and down and now he's just leaping over. And so when I asked Bert this question, Bert said, "Oh, you mean my launch pad?" And I went, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think maybe you do, you just spread a line of peanut butter up the ramp. And so you
gross,
have to.
So I did that with treats. That's exactly what I did. And there's only so many times you can do that. Like, still no. Still no. And it's like almost like looking at me like, no, I'm going to walk around that thing to jump up. I had an interesting couple of days with that. Anyway, moving on. We have some Nanar things. This is from Grin. I'm opening up bug reporting via Nanar to anyone with a 0.99 plus Nanar score. See a bug, tag Nanar, and ask it to report the issue. Caveat, it might take us a while to get each report, and some issues may not get addressed at all. This is often about us, not about the bug itself. There's a lot of internal complexity that affects how we handle this stuff. To start, I'm going to focus on bugs related to the Nanar mini app and the agent itself. Eventually, I'll expand it to all front-end bugs and then to all parts of our code. I appreciate everyone who takes the time to report an issue, whether or not we act on it. Please use this power wisely. I went to check my Nanar score and I am only a 0.98. I don't know. I don't know what I have been a 1. I have been a 0.99. I've been a 0.98. I move up and down. I don't understand why. So check yours. See if you can do bug reporting.
Do you check it in like the platform, or do you?
You can just ask
tag?
Nanar. There's a platform for it. There's usually somebody has posted the checking thing. There's a bunch of ways. You can just ask Nanar. You just tag Nanar and say, "Hey, what's my Nanar score?" It'll tell you.
Doing that.
Okay, let's see. And then this was funny from Yura. Guys with a 0.98 score now, like myself. Like, it's there's a lot of this going on. A lot of people Yasek's a 0.98. Like, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Are you at 0.99? It'll let you know.
I might be so low, Nanar won't respond to me.
No, can't be. And then this is also from Grin. We just shipped shareable Nanar AI chats. Now you can send a link to any combo and let others explore it with full context. Great for research threads, token deep dives, and memes. Better share previews coming soon. Check it out. So that's an exciting new addition as well. I still haven't launched the last mini app I did, maybe today. This from Burr. Actually, you know what? I'll come back to that. I think we're not going to do that one right now. This from Czar, maybe. I was not aware of this, and this was pretty cool. Been using the Farcaster Times newsletter almost every day. I think I got it pretty good at highlighting the important events on the network. Sends a weekly newsletter on Saturdays and a daily rest of the day. Sign up if interested. Look at archived newsletters for a sample. It also has a feature called Recipes, which allows you to create a list of users whose activity will be curated in your newsletter. This is not enabled for all yet, though. Here is yesterday's newsletter and July's activity recipes. So very cool. So you can kind of hone in on some signal. So that is very cool. All right. 1 second while I shift gears. So we
talking about drama now?
Yeah, we're going to drama. I just needed to get through some
stuff.
Yeah, I just need to make sure I didn't miss anything here. And then we're shifting over to the fork and one other thing. And then all right, here we go. Back to the news. I think I was here. Okay. And Where are we? Here we go. So lots of things. It just I joined for the drama. Welcome, Saul. Saul just getting back from ETH Denver as well. Perfect time. Yes, perfect time. I'm just trying to get my links to come up. So for those who missed it,
including me,
including Adrienne, we had a couple things happen last week. Oh, I know it. I don't have Rish's cast. Okay. For some reason, the casts are not loading. But here's what happened. The Rish had announced that Uno was getting not a hub, snap chain node.
validator.
Validator. Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
that
like, what
Uno
is the right
will be.
word?
Rish announced Uno would be the second validator.
Second validator. There was an FIP that was out there for a while saying that that for Cassie to add one through Equilibrium. And that was didn't happen. So this became an issue. And I'm just trying to hopefully get this settled so I can actually talk about it with links, because this is really annoying. I may just have to delete some things and then maybe they'll load. So what this turned into was a lot of discussion about decentralization, whether or not we were truly moving in that direction. And there was some things being discussed in the background that were not necessarily public facing between Cassie and Rish. And that's where some of this lied. Because, oh, come on, you're not even going to let me show these amazing memes either, because I'll be really upset if we can't show the memes. So that led to a fork coming up. So for those who do not understand what a fork is, and there's a lot of folks who don't, what this generally means is that a protocol is splitting off. Part of it's splitting off or taking any open source code and moving it to a separate place is the best way I can put that in layman's terms.
Think of it like a fork in the road.
Fork in the road. Exactly.
It's like you've got a single protocol going down a path, and then for whatever reason, you now have two forks or two paths
or multiple,
at the fork,
right?
And then they can kind of grow independently of each other.
Exactly. So I see. I'm just like, some of these links are just not opening. So some famous ones that have happened, I know, I mentioned the word fork and then all of a sudden nothing's working for me anymore. Couple famous forks, Ethereum. So Ethereum had a big exploit hack of the DAO. So it was Ethereum. Let me just take a sip. Ethereum was run by something called the DAO, and it had a big exploit. So the only thing, what they decided to do was to fork that. That became Ethereum. The original became Ethereum Classic. So ETC versus ETH. So those are the difference. ETC, Ethereum Classic, is still to this day proof of work. So it never, nothing continued on in terms of development. All development stayed with the new fork. BTC, I think, had something similar happen, if I remember correctly. And that's why we have BTC Cash and Bitcoin Cash and I think, but I'm not positive on that. So I'll move on to speak about a fork that I do know a lot about. So that was a very particular kind of technical fork, very, very specific. So another fork that some may be familiar and that many of us have PTSD about is Nouns. So that was a whole thing. Nouns itself was a fork, funny enough. So Compound is the one that had the original auction. That was forked by Zora. Nouns forked Zora's auction thing, created its own thing. And then that became a big moment back in 2023, I think it was. And we had a big piece of technology that was built into our protocol so that folks could leave nouns with a piece of the treasury. Dumbest freaking thing we ever did. And I will stand by that forever. And actually looking back, as I looked back on this a little bit during this fork discussion, I am more clear that that was the dumbest thing we ever did. There's been multiple forks of nouns, by the way. There's been, food nouns, little nouns, public nouns. Those are all what we call native forks or of nouns, plus Nouns Builder. Nouns Builder was another fork platform protocol, creating its own protocol that allowed things like Purple to become their own DAO using the same mechanism of an auction, a shared treasury, et cetera, these 5 particular smart contracts. So forks can have, sometimes they're necessary from, exploit, hack, something like that, very necessary in order to save the protocol and the project. And then there's other times where it's socially pushed. And that was like what happened with nouns. It was a, just a difference of opinion. In the nicest way possible to put that. So what we're seeing here today is a difference of opinion in terms of how Farcaster should operate, and also a feeling that maybe some things are not being handled in the best way, or maybe not in good faith. This is, I don't want to speak for Cassie. She's talked about this extensively. For some reason, I'm having trouble bringing up some of that that I wanted to share. But the biggest thing I would say is go listen to the Twitter space last night. We'll have that link in. I think you get a very good understanding of sort of where we're at right now, what's going to happen next, and essentially taking like what Farcaster has been, moving it to a decentralized hyper snap rather than snap chain that Cassie's already built, and creating sort of a new ecosystem for the Farcaster community and technology. Did I get that right from what you understand? Because you listened to the space, I think, last night, correct? Or this morning?
Yeah, I listened to the first, was it 2 hours? I listened to the first
hour. It was
hour.
long. Yeah. And so from a technical perspective, do you have any other thoughts on, like, am I getting most of that correct?
I think you are. Definitely, she does like the first 10 minutes of the space. I think she just gives the history, and she does an excellent job of explaining, I think, just kind of at a high level. So I think it's definitely worth listening to.
Okay.
If you get a chance. One thing that I liked about what she's saying is she sounds pretty committed to staying compatible to Snapchain. So hyper snap, it's not necessarily of like one or the other. It's everything. If you're on her side of the fork, like it should still work backwards compatible.
Hopefully.
To Snapchain.
Yeah.
So she just always sounds so principled. So it doesn't really sound like the way she's building. It doesn't really sound like it's this personal F you to Farcaster. I'm forking. It's not like, oh, I'm taking my ball to my own playground because I don't like you personally. It's right. I don't like some of your architecture.
I don't like decisions. The choices.
I don't like your choices or decisions, and I'm going to propose another way. But so like that's kind of what I got from a high level. I liked a lot of. I mean, I liked hearing what she was saying in terms of what's important to her, like and what her motivations are. I think, what did she say? She said, it's like the ability to, everyone should be able to spin up a client within a weekend. Everyone should be able to, post to, I can't really remember.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, listen to this. Even if you just listen to the first 10 minutes of the space, I think she covers a lot of, the basics of what's happening. And then there was a longer discussion about a little bit more detailed and question and answer and things like that. Okay, I finally got these freaking casts to come up. So let me just give you this so we kind of have this information. So this was from Rish. Farcaster's aim continues to be sufficiently decentralized protocol. We expect to add Uno as an independent validator and open source a snapshot of the Farcaster mobile client by the end of this month. We've learned through Merkle's years of experimentation that decentralization as a narrative isn't enough to grow social networks. We need user growth alongside user ownership, else it's an empty decentralized network. Our vision for Farcaster is to make it the best place on the internet for people to create new things, launch, and get feedback from their first users on a social graph they own on global financial rails. Our priorities moving forward are features to help humans and agents build easier on Farcaster, make it easier to discover new launches, share what you create, prototype here, fix product experiences in the client, cast button, reply, bumping in the feed, etc. This will happen on a sufficiently decentralized network that can then progressively decentralize in the future. If you have bandwidth to help test, address issues on the client snapshot before we open source it, please reach out. So that was that. And then Cassie had replied to that, had quote casted from this message. Come on. I swear to God, today is just not my day with the frickin' links. First day back. And she had said, decentralization requires open participation. You cannot even begin to act like decentralization is federating one other team and calling it a day. You played absolute back and forth games with Q team, rapidly switching to we'll add your node, we won't add your node over and over again, while trying to make it seem from public replies that I am somehow confused and have no reason to be upset. Told me today now to just go ahead and fork. I will. And by your actions, you forced us to do a hard fork, receipts below. So you can find, a little bit more detail here. There's a lot of back and forth and conversation also with Christopher, and I'll allow, you all to dive in. A lot of you have seen it, but if you haven't, you can dive in there. And then one last comment on this was from DWR. I'm supportive of Naynar stewarding Farcaster's development. I'm appreciative of Cassie's many contributions to Farcaster over the years. Hopefully there's a path forward together. And that's all I will say on the matter.
Dan's so happy to be able to write that. That's all I'll say.
And that's all I'll say on the matter. And he's done. Yeah. So I think it's now at this point a wait and see. I'd like to support both parties in what they're doing, and just I probably will use both. I'll already have quorum. So I'm just kind of like, let me just see how this all plays out. I did ask a question about, what is the cost of running a node for the new fork? About what does that look like? What kind of equipment do you need? She did give that answer in the Twitter space. It was very helpful. Coming in at about like $129 a month-ish. And that was just an estimate based on her setup. So who knows? But I do think it's interesting because you and I have talked about this for a long time, about the thesis of can somebody, and mostly we were thinking about it in terms of a client. We weren't thinking about it in terms of a fork. But this is now that thesis of like, can somebody split off, do their own thing, and still communicate, interact with, but also not be censored, still be able to interact with the protocol. We thought it was going to be Brian. It wasn't. It was Cassie. All right. So other thoughts about all this?
I guess it's like the danger of a fork on a small community can be it fractures.
Yeah.
And Farcaster has to get to, it's kind of like it's like you don't want it to fracture and then kind of both fizzle. I think as people who use and love Farcaster in the community, it can feel like parents divorcing. It's like you don't want to see people fighting, people who love each other and have shared goals. Like why, kind of can't. It feels like last resort is a hard fork.
Yeah.
That being said, it also, like, competition generally leads to better outcomes.
True.
So it's like how many more experiments can be run. I think the equation with Nanar acquiring Farcaster all of a sudden, like just from a like means that you can kind of have a little more experimentation.
Yep.
And I generally feel like now I just caveat everything. I literally been on a ski mountain for a week completely on like, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I have not followed so much of this, but I just kind of at the just high level, it feels like people are pretty open to experimentation. Like it's like, yes, like in a friendly way, like go compete with each other. Great. Like who wins? So
I have no, I hope the answer is both. I have similar concerns because mostly because I've watched it. In terms of the community, I think in terms of the technology, I find it interesting and let's see how this goes. And maybe one way is better than the other. And I don't think we know until that experiment happens. So that part of it, I'm kind of like, okay, well, this is interesting. From a community perspective, I mean, Toady had posted something. I didn't pull that one, or it's just like, the Stewie just rocking in a because we're just I'm so much pain from the nouns fork that it just like I don't see that happen to Farcaster.
Little PTSD.
Major PTSD.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's a lot, and we haven't recovered. We will never recover. So there's that part of it that is in the back of my mind, and I don't want to see that happen. And I feel like a little of that is already happening. And I don't think at this point you can't stop it. I just don't think you can. I don't think there's any moving forward. So
I think the advice, and I say this to someone with a straight face who is Nounish Prof on Farcaster, but it's like you have to protect yourself, right? And try not to attach any like so much of your identity to a protocol that isn't yours to control necessarily. I like
by the way,
it's like kind of like all
knew exactly what I was doing when I did it. Totally did. Totally did. I really did. I realized the danger, believe me.
Yeah. Okay. And there's people with Farcaster tattoos. It's like, so
in the old logo.
Oh yeah. So the only thing I will say, it's like, listen, I listen to what Cassie says and I'm like, yeah, she's got really good points. And then I listen to and I hear what Rich is saying and I'm like, he's got really good points. And I,
absolutely,
I will just continue to be my spineless,
I'm not picking sides.
That I'm like, I love y'all. I'm a mom. I love all my children. I love y'all.
Love y'all.
Godspeed. Go build stuff. Like, just go build.
Yeah.
I kind of want to disagree with something Rich said, which is like, no one cares about decentralization.
Yeah. Until they do.
Because no, it's not even that. It's just, no one cares about decentralization, but you do care about the things that decentralization can offer. And I do think it's like, you can't lead with decentralization. That is nobody is going to care unless it's like the very small percentage of people who do. But I went back if it's like why did we post on Farcaster to begin with?
Right.
It wasn't like there were reasons that were like kind of bigger than us. It was like, and those are still the case. And even when he talks about, we want open Lego block, you want an open system, you want anyone to own your identity. Theoretically, you could do that without decentralization, but you actually can't because there's going to be all these incentives, this is the whole corporate network, which is extract. You offer all these things to extract people, but then it gets too lucrative. You're going to then put up your walls. And the only way you can avoid that is with decentralization. So I don't really believe it's a little disingenuous to say people want these things, but not decentralization. It's like, we want those things forever, not just, during your trying to attract new people phase.
Maybe. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I go back and forth on this, and I think it's just a matter of wait and see how it all plays out. I, and I don't understand the technical reasons as to why another node could have been added or not added, or I'm going to leave that to their discussion. But in terms of like where we were going, so I feel like we've just had a lot of chaos, not even chaos, just uncertainty is probably the better word, between all these different phases of things that have been happening over the past couple weeks, couple months. What am I even saying? So I think that has not been good for Farcaster overall. It hasn't been good for the community. So I was very hopeful and feeling really good about where Naynar and Farcaster are taking things. And I feel like this just puts an extra bump in the road that, I don't know. I think there's another timeline where we got to just see it play out a little bit longer and see where we could have gone. So that's my only thing is like, is energy being pulled away that could have been better together. And that's like one thing that's making me a little, I don't know, just sad. Cause I'm liking the Naynar App Studio. I'm liking like the direction of some of these things. It's fun to see people playing around with stuff that normally wouldn't be, like Burtwurst and that kind of thing, like just watching those kind of experiments. And I feel like some of that is in danger of being, kind of frozen a little bit, chilled by everything that's going on. So anyway, never a dull moment. I'll give you that much.
No.
Never a dull moment.
And we don't know what's being discussed in DMs.
No.
Like you don't know everyone's, because part of me feels like, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. No idea.
I don't know why.
And also it's not, and I don't know the full thinking, and I don't have all the information, and nor should I, because, it's some of those just ain't none of my business. And
like my feeling is a little bit as well with you, which was like Naynar just took over a protocol and an app.
The ink isn't, it's not even fully signed yet. Like everything's happening this week. I mean,
but the Merkle team doesn't go over. Like the people who built Farcaster intimately didn't come over. You lose that. You have to kind of like learn a new code base from scratch.
Yeah.
And not just the code, but how do you deploy to it and how do you maintain it? And what are all the things that go wrong on the weekends and at nights? And so, and as much as Naynar would understand Farcaster, I think better than anyone, it's still, it's just new. So I imagine there's a lot of energy just kind of spent in closing the deal.
Yes.
I don't know why, and again, in the past, there were still like, I think reasons to poke at, was Farcaster decentralized enough when it was Merkle running a node or Snapchain?
Right. Snapchain. Yeah.
The rewards for running hubs. But, and Naynar, right. Which are, and then when it becomes Naynar, it's really only one. Okay. Right. So I don't know what happened into like, why did Uno happen first? Like,
and there's a lot
I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Some of these threads do have a little bit more detail about some of that you probably haven't even had a chance to look at. And we'll have those links in the show notes. But I just would have liked to have seen a little more time before a fork, just to like, but also, I understand that maybe Cassie feels like she did give it enough time. I don't know. So I can't really speak to that. So I let her speak to that instead. So anyway, on the plus side, we got this. So the memes were good.
Beautiful.
The memes were fantastic. This from Alina Ferry. That was from what was that from? Quilling Quillia. Let's call it Forkcaster. And then we had this from Alina Ferry. Feed right now. Somebody forked up. Why can't I say fork? If you're trying to curse, you can't hear. That's bullshit. So using the good place meme and forks. Horsebacks chiming in after he was called by Say Angel. I'm putting up the horse signal. Horsebacks is the hero Farcaster needs, but not the one it deserves. Please save the timeline. And he came back with Forklets. forklets. This was from Rish. Fun fact. Back then, guests were expected to bring their own fancy fork in a box called a cadena if they were coming over for dinner. And it took about 10 seconds before somebody launched $cadena. Just in case you missed it. But I'm not recommending you go even look for that token because I'm sure it's nowhere along with everything else. This was posted by me. I'm just going to leave this right here. So if you want to listen to Cassie and Rish have a very interesting conversation while they eat hot wings, I'd recommend it. It's actually it was one of my favorite things from FarCon last year. We also had Cassie on, had to interrupt her mid speaking because Naynar had acquired Farcaster while we were on the air. And then 2 days later, we had Rish on. So there you go. If you want to dive in, we've got the whole forking thing for
Prof,
you.
you can share that episode from our mini app now.
I forgot. I should have done that. I was just grabbing them from YouTube last minute.
YouTube mini app.
Mini app. Sorry. Go to the mini app. Go to the GM Farcaster mini app. All the episodes are there.
And you can search.
And then we had, like I said, there was a lot of this was funny with Joey eating, and then hard for me to see how forks are good for a fledgling social builder network, but I'm trying to learn. Of course, I went through now 3 nouns forks, so maybe I have PTSD. Yes, you do. Again, we mentioned that Cassie did a Twitter space. You can listen to that recording now over on her account. Okay, so there was one more thing that happened last week. Did not see this one coming. Could not have put a poly market on this one.
Was it another hack?
No, it was not. Well, I thought it was. I did think it was. I reached out to the person who posted and said, "Hey, were you hacked?" And I also reached out to somebody else and said, "Hey,
was this person hacked?
Was Dan hacked?" And it turned out, no, he was not hacked. So Dan had a moment. And he posted this, the madman meme in the elevator. And people on this website who never built anything at scale, armchair quarterbacking on how we should have built the protocol, mute, goodbye forever. I don't know why it happened on that day. Like, I don't know what spurred this on. It did not seem to have any specific connection. But he went a little, maybe
he saw something on X, like maybe
I don't know. I don't know what drove it, but it was giving me, oh yeah, Dan's from Massachusetts, I forgot vibes. It felt like that. I was like, okay. There was a lot in here. You can all go look at it for yourself. But I am going to highlight one last thing. He did have a closing thoughts for the day. And I thought this was worth sharing. So this is from DWR. Closing thoughts for today. This is after he went on this little run of casts and replies. 1, I don't think I have all the answers. Spent 5 years building Farcaster and it didn't work out. I failed. That's life. We'll circle back to that in a moment. 2, proud of my team's work. Hubs and Snapchain are an impressive technical achievement, and it was really cool to see a non-blockchain distributed system get a decent amount of use. Also think the surface area we were able to build across the mobile and web app along with frames, mini apps was pretty awesome given how small our team was. I'll always appreciate how kind they were to everyone on the network given how nasty some people were to them. By the way, the small team, I think that's why it worked. And I think that's why they got so much done so quickly. Just personal opinion. 3, I learned a lot from people on Farcaster over the 5 years. There was a lot of reasonable and good criticism. I'd like to think I spent a lot of time, months of my life, reading what people had to say. 4, that said, there are a few folks on this website that are at best uncivil, at worst, actually misanthropic, ? 5, now that I'm no longer in charge, easiest to just mute and let them howl into the void on the protocol I helped build. Yes, you're making the point that Farcaster failed by continuing to use Farcaster, LOL. 6, maybe these people will build something of substance in the world and get the last laugh, but seems unlikely. So I'll focus my time here on the people that seem genuinely kind. I would totally disagree with the I failed. Maybe you didn't achieve your ultimate goal, but I that's far from failure. Like,
I think someone responded to someone saying, like, there's a difference between, he said, Farcaster may not have failed. Like, it's kind of like, I'm not saying Farcaster's a failure, but I didn't reach my goals and therefore I failed. And I don't think.
Okay. But still,
I mean, obviously, you know, we're going to disagree with him for a number of reasons. And also in the world of, like, if you're going to try things, you're going to fail. Like, and as in our old age, I would.
Oh, you just muted yourself. See, this is a point of failure. She muted herself.
That wasn't even muted. It's like a wire.
She just said, in our old age, and then did like a total boomer moment.
No, in my old age, I'd say probably one of my biggest regrets is, like, I haven't stacked up enough failures.
I'm good.
Right. So it's all right, fine. But and the other thing I'll say is, like, when someone wants to say they failed, you have to let them.
Yeah.
You can't tell someone, no, you didn't. So let him feel like he failed. Like,
you got a good point.
He's going to beat himself up. Let him sit in it.
Yeah. But when I think about, you know, failure is just a big word. And I think, I actually took a class, an MBA class that was all about learning from failure. And I found it very interesting in terms of, like, it's really just learning. It's learning experiences. But if you built something that's still sustained and was acquired and still has 20,000 something people using it every day, or whatever the number is right now, it's really hard to call it a failure. It's really hard to call it a failure.
That wasn't his goal. His goal was a billion, like an at-scale network that 1 billion people use every single day.
I think that's a better way to put that is, I didn't hit my ultimate goal, which was blah, blah, blah. Just a framing. Didn't like the framing. There was one more piece of this I forgot that I wanted to just point out, was discussion around why didn't you spend more of the money you raised? And I think this was a really good cast, and I think is worth the time here. Spending money can help with signups, i.e. you can pay to get the users to download and go through onboarding. What it doesn't solve is the most important thing, retention. If 3 out of every 10 users that signed up continued to use Farcaster after 30 days, we would have been thrilled to spend the money acquiring more users. We had some brief periods where 30-day retention was greater than 20%, but those didn't stick. But the harsh reality is we never found an iteration of the product that could reliably retain users. Everyone will have opinions on what form of the product might have led to better retention. Reply bumping, channels, something else, trending, feed, animated, fees. But the data never supported any of it. So then why did you raise so much money? An older Silicon Valley operator investor once shared a good quip here. When they are passing hors d'oeuvres, take 2. Raising a lot of money is only a burden for a company if you spend it. So Varun and I always had the point of view to raise when timing was good for us. Timing is 80% of fundraising. And then be disciplined on how we spend it. Our mentality was never to spend every penny because we had it, rather preserve as much as possible until a clear sign of product market fit, and then be able to rapidly deploy capital into something that was working, both in user acquisition and scaling the team. The amusing thing about being told you should have spent more is the divide. Those who never raised significant capital wanted me to spend it, while those who actually raised large sums thought I was being prudent. My feeling was, like, to me, watching them return all funds to investors, I thought was amazing, considering that you also built. Like, you built something for 5 years. Yeah. You were able to do it in a sustainable fashion that also preserves your ability to raise in the future for something else. So to me, it was like, what are you talking about? Like, so, and when I think about it, you know, most of that is coming from your own self-interest. Would I have loved them to spend more money on Farcaster native media? duh.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, because it would benefit me, but does that necessarily mean it would have moved the needle significantly? Probably not.
Yeah. Also, yes.
You know, like who knows? Maybe,
No.
but probably
Maybe.
not.
Maybe.
Not in the way, not to a billion. Like that wasn't going to be the thing. So, you know, I can make the argument both ways that like, you know, and I actually replied back and said that. But also it's the same thing with the token. Would I have loved for them to launch a token because it would have absolutely benefited me? Sure. Yeah. Would it have been an absolute headache for them and likely not also move the needle? Absolutely.
What would the token do? What would the token do? What would the token do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like he never got that answer, so they didn't do it. Thoughts also from your perspective.
Wait, what did you say?
Thoughts as an investor from your, not an investor
Oh, yeah.
in general.
Okay. So two things. One, about his comment about raising money. I've also heard something similar as well. And I know at the last company I worked at, when we were raising money, you don't raise money when you need it. You raise money when you can.
Yeah.
That was a different order of comment, but it was like, why are we raising money? What are you going to do with it? It's like, well, we can right now. And the rate, like I think we might have borrowed money, but it was like rates were low. You get a really good deal. You have it. So you have a chest that you can deploy strategically when the time comes. The first time you met Dan, which was in 2023 in Boston, you were like, well, what's your runway?
Yeah.
Because people who are choosing to build on Farcaster want to know. And if he had spent all his money, like, cool, you could speed run that in, then what's the point? So I have tons of respect for his frugality, and like you can raising money from strategy. Just because you have the money doesn't mean you need to spend it.
Right.
I can surely offer up, like, this is how you could have spent money, but coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Sure.
And I also think just, we have no idea the amount of criticism and probably nasty messages that Dan and team have gotten. Like you see a little bit of it, but it's not directed at you. So you see it and you're like, you brush it off. Like it doesn't sting. He never lashed out. Maybe a little bit, but it's like, but imagine taking that much personal criticism from people and not letting it get to you year after year after year.
Yeah.
So
hence the breaking point last week for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't think it's like, whatever. And then for people who are saying like, okay, giving money back better than spending it all on nothing, better. But I just, investors are not trying to preserve capital.
No, but
investors are looking for, especially in early stage venture, multiples of, 3,
return.
4, 5, 6, 7x.
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is like, they want you to spend it if it's actually going to move the needle and get you to the goal of that 10x, that whatever, but if it's not going to, if you're going to just lose it, would you rather they've just totally lost it, or would you rather get it
on
back?
The venture side? Even like sometimes you get upset as like, it's like as an LP in a certain fund. It's like, I've gotten upset when people sell too early. It's like, oh, you get, you have an event, a liquidation event, but it's like, oh, it's too early. It's like, you left that out, or, oh, yay, we got it back. It's just, it doesn't, the investors don't want to just keep your money. It's not about preservation. So anyway, we don't know that. Like, I think it's incredible. I agree with you, right? The discipline but I can see why the founders may feel like a failure, because what they're expected to do is not build a protocol, that 20,000 people use and
they want it to be billion.
That wasn't just, it just wasn't the goal. So, that being said, I was laughing at Dan's responses last week. It still feels, he's not in charge. It still feels a little punching down. A
little bit. Yeah.
But everybody's human.
Yeah.
Everyone's human.
Yeah. This is a great point. The crypto crowd is obsessed with gambling. To them, this safe bet was a non-bet. Yeah. That's a great point.
And when you say crypto crowd, I wonder, do you mean this is the people in the
Yeah.
crowds,
Yes.
not necessarily the investors, but it's everybody else who has a comment on Twitter about
Exactly.
how
Yeah.
far? Yeah, that's
There's a
interesting.
lot of like, even just when they announced that they had returned funds, there was, first of all, there was this big outcry of like, I can't believe you raised this much and you guys just wasted. And then it was like, no, we returned the funds.
Oh.
And they're like, I can't believe you returned the funds. It's like, you people are insane. Like it was just absolute insanity. Like, what is wrong with you? Like either way, you're going to be pissed.
And probably Dan has gotten a lot of that, right? It's just like
Yes.
there's probably
Yeah.
certain people who are unhappy no matter what you do.
No matter what.
And
Doesn't
when you
matter.
can figure that
Yeah.
out, you have to realize, okay, well, it's your sanity. You got to protect.
Yeah, you got to preserve. Yeah.
Say,
We're seeing,
liberally.
we're also seeing a ton of different projects shut down, wind down, close, all these things. And I'll tell you right now, I don't think a lot of those investors are getting any money back. So there's a ton of that going on right now. There's, massive shifts of what's happening with base and base app. Like, I mean, this is happening at a lot of different levels. So I don't know, to me, it was like, that was actually really amazing management of funds, in my opinion. But anyway.
Well, anyway, guess who is probably going to be able to raise money again in the future if they want to? And
exactly.
And guess who isn't?
Exactly. Okay, couple last notes. This was from Burr, and I just thought it kind of said a lot. On one hand, yeah, things look bleak. However, it's never been a better time to be hanging out where innovation happens. Sure, rails are tough, people leaving, people bickering, but technology doesn't care about any of that. You can build on Twitter. You can't build on Twitter the way you can on Farcaster. I'll die on the sword that incentives aren't what brought me here. I still live for the idea that meaningful technology is being built on Farcaster. With AI moving at the speed of light, wouldn't you want to be where it's easiest to build to garner exposure? Don't give up on FC because it never dies. And I think that was fantastic. By the way, so Adrienne's on vacation. We have a Discord, just us. I put links in for the shows. So I just have one for today. I'm like, I'm just going to drop things over the week. And then I kept dropping them. We have another channel that's like where we just normally chat. I keep dropping these like the craziness, like the craziest ones in there. And I'm like, okay, this happened. There was this hack. And then there's a fork. And then Dan went crazy. and then I'm like, and then Adrienne, you're not even going to believe it, but we're going to end the week with then the aliens. And I'm like, I swear, I'm like, I couldn't write this one. Like, I couldn't have made this up if I tried. I'm like, aliens actually being confirmed to exist just spiked on Polymarket. Like, there you go. Just a few things while you were gone skiing.
Was it what was the one that caused you to do the space last week? Was it the fork?
Yeah. It was, yeah, we had multiple things. And then, yeah, we jumped on Farhouse and just like, hey, everybody. And then we actually talked about, I'm like, we should probably do this regularly for a little Farcaster therapy session. People just needed to like have a conversation because we were getting tagged in a lot of things also while everything was going on the feed where people are like, can't wait to see what GM Farcaster says about this tomorrow. And I'm like, we're not on this week. And part of me was like, too bad we're not on. And a bigger part of me was like, thank God we're not on because I need a little distance from this. Yeah.
I felt a little bad. Like I was like, do you need me this week? And then I also had this weird, just perspective of like, you could feel the tension on the feed.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get my heart rate to give a shit.
Yeah.
Because
you're up in the mountains. Yeah.
It's like everything you think is like, just such a big deal in the time. It's, I don't know.
Yeah. So there was like the stuff happening here, there was stuff happening in the world, and it was just like everything felt absolutely chaotic. And then I was like, and it's starting the fire horse. I'm like, this is just the fire horse's fault, isn't it? So I just kept dropping her notes in the
Is it the year of
in
the
the
fire
chat.
horse? Is that it? It's
Yes.
fire and horse and the
I
okay.
guess.
Well, happy
I
New Year,
guess.
everyone. Happy
New Year. Happy Lunar New Year. All right. Anything else before we wrap this up? I know a few people just came in. Hello. I don't know if everybody knows, but Grok has money, in case you didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know which MFer that was. Former guest alum.
Yeah. Former guest alum. I recognize that MFer.
Right.
Anything else, Adrienne, before we call it for today?
Nah.
Nah.
Thanks for waiting for me to come back from vacation.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it without you. We are going to be on Wednesday. Right now we're scheduled for 8:30, but there's a guest we potentially might have, so that might shift, but I'll let you know. Friday, we have the Quotient team coming by to talk about their new thing. And I don't even know if you know who's coming. Should I just surprise you?
On Friday?
I should probably tell you. Yeah. Do you know who's coming from Quotient? Do you know who joined Quotient?
I
don't even know if you know who joined Quotient. Shira.
I do. No, I don't know.
Shira. I didn't think you knew. Yeah. So Shira and Ruminations are going to be with us on Friday to talk about what Quotient's got going on. So that'll be fun. And Thursday, we're on Farhouse with the Farhouse team. Like we're just kind of hanging with them. So that'll be fun. So busy week. Busy week. It's going to be fun. Be a fun week back. Yeah, definitely go back and watch from the beginning. Easy in Crypto. By the way, I saw it too late, but go and look at their cast from all the swag they got at ETH Denver. I saw it like I didn't pull the cast, and now I regret it because it was quite the score. Very very big score there on the swag. So it was quite impressive. All right. Anything else?
Want to know what my NANAR? Anyone want to know what my NANAR score is?
Yes. What was your NANAR score? 99? 100? 1?
Yep. It was 99.
99? You're good.
Yeah.
Send your feedback. Send your feedback along. One other thing, I do have a new mini app that's almost ready to go. I'm dropping one thing. It's a very utilitarian kind of mini app. It's a tool. And I am going to drop a Clanker that goes with it, but don't get excited. Like the Clanker has a use case in the mini app, and that's it. Like, don't get too crazy. It's all I'm just letting you know. Like, chill. It's just because I needed a way to token gate, and that's the way. Like the way I sell it, really going for that generational wealth. I really know how to sell a token.
Hype.
Not shilling it, NFA, DYOR. But I just want you to know I'm going to be, if you do see something drop, it is actually from me later today. All right. I think that's it. I think we're good for today. Thanks everybody for hanging with us. I know that was a long one. We were catching up on a week's worth of crazy, and we'll be back Wednesday, hopefully with a little less crazy, but maybe a little more fun. And until then, everybody, bye-bye. Thanks for joining us for this episode of GM Farcaster. And thank you to all our partners and HyperSub supporters bringing this episode to you. Follow the GM Farcaster channel for all the latest updates and add our mini app on Farcaster and the base app. Until next time, bye-bye.